Hi there, my name is Bever, and together with Dia, Suzanne and Nikki, we have decided to create a co-design workshop on behalf of the Assessment 2. So based on our Assessment 1 findings, we figured out that social engagement and in-person relationships have decreased significantly after UNSW has decided to take their orientation week online. Because of this, we started to look at UNSW being a stakeholder for this opportunity that we've slowly started to develop, and the students that attend orientation week, in particular first year students, as well as our target audience. We decided to look at creating some sort of online platform that encourages rapport between faculty, staff and students as a result. And these are kind of our problem statements: identified opportunity and objective. As mentioned before, we're looking at creating some sort of social engagement that happens on an online basis, and ensuring that everyone still receives that same amount of social security that they would get at an otherwise in-person orientation week. So for our workshop structure, to get a better idea of the kind of needs and desires our audience wants, we structured it into two kinds of workshops, so group workshop and an individual one. And through this, we also developed a discussion guide to help us create a sort of cohesive and consistent workshop as well, that followed the same kind of structure, so we get similar, or hopefully similar, results depending on what obviously our audience is after. We have a group of 5 students in one of the group workshops and an individual in the other.
So the first activity that we conducted as part of our workshops was the introductions and a questionnaire. And through this sort of introduction, it worked as an icebreaker in the group to help all of the participants get to know one another and to create like a comfortable environment for them to carry out the workshop in. So our questionnaire consisted of all these 9 questions you see on the side of the screen. This questionnaire was conducted in a group, and each person gave in their answers individually, which were logged using an Excel sheet. And we decided to first begin our workshop with the questionnaire so that everyone develops a sort of rapport with each other. And it also allows us to refine our perspective of the opportunities that we have within this target audience, and also provides a good insight as to what the current usage of social media is amongst our participants. So the outcomes of this first activity were that almost all of our participants used websites such as Moodle and Blackboard to complete their studies online. And these websites were exclusively used to carry out university tasks and assignments, but not so much for socializing beyond the classroom. And the key takeaway from this section was that even though most universities have platforms that they provide to their students to carry out things like studies and completion of assignments, they don't really provide a platform for them to socialize. And this could be potentially a good area for us to explore by including a social aspect into the already existing apps and platforms that universities provide. The second insight that we gained was into what social platforms our users are currently using, with the highest rate being WhatsApp. And this shows that texting is a primary way for people in this target audience to communicate with each other. And this was a feature that we'd like to include in our final design as well. Another question that we logged the responses for were whether our participants engaged with the events that the university was conducting. And all of them had engaged with these events while they were happening in person and on campus during O Week, but not many of them had attended any of the virtual events online, as they found virtual environments too difficult to form a connection with another person.
For the next section, we made our participants write down problem areas on sticky notes and stick them onto the wall, after which they could see everyone's problems and write down possible solutions to those and stick them next to the issues that they were interested in. As the wall kept building with these notes, there was one problem that stood out, and almost every participant had it noted down, which was cultural differences. Australia, being a multicultural country, could make international students uncomfortable to make the first step to speak to their peers or even to make friends. The common areas were acceptance, language barriers, fear of being judged, difference of opinion, and few others. This mind map on a wall helped them realize that there were others who suffered similar problems, and it led to a discussion of what possible ways could they be solved. There were various solutions like language workshops, peer groups, etc. What we did was to try and club all these solutions for a better social interaction at university, which could possibly be through a social application that would host, address, and solve these issues without stressing the student.
The next activity we conducted was the card sorting activity, and we chose this method of card sorting because it's especially helpful, especially while designing an app or a platform or an online service, as it allows us to gain an insight into the priorities of our users and what information they deem most necessary. This activity was carried out by each participant individually. And the way in which we carried out this activity is that we created a set of 15 cards, and each of the cards contained one feature of our proposed platform. These features were grouped into three main categories, first being the profile, which included features such as the age, location, ethnicity, university course, and age of the student. The second was social interaction, which had to do with chatting with university peers in group chats, live chats, video chats, having an online status, photos, and posts. And the third was gatherings, which had to do with event advertisements and event invites, virtual games, finding a friend on campus, and connecting with clubs. So the way in which we carried out this activity was we asked our participants to categorize all of these cards into three main sections, which were very important, important, and not important. These are a few images of our card sorting activity during the group workshop. And the results that we gained from this activity were that we were able to gain an insight into what were the most important or prominent features amongst all of these cards that they wanted to see included on the platform the most. So we picked the top three cards in each category, and under the very important category came group chats, video chat, event advertisements, and invites. Under the important section came location specific, which was they could connect with another student in their local area, a bio, and the ability to connect with a club. The features that were deemed not important were the student's age, their ethnicity, and a live chat feature. So the main takeaways from this activity was that most of the students wanted a means by which they could simply communicate with another student in university, maybe through a chat feature, and also a way in which they could stay updated as to what events were currently happening either in a virtual environment or on campus. Most of the students wanted a means by which they could simply communicate with another student in university, maybe through a chat feature, and also a way in which they could stay updated as to what events were currently happening either in a virtual environment or on campus. They found that features such as finding a friend on campus or finding a friend in their local area where they live that they could connect with was another important feature to have.
So we conducted a Crazy 8 activity with our participants. Each of them have one paper and fold it down to 8 different parts. And we will ask them about 3 questions. First one was about what does your ideal social app looks like? And second one, what information do you feel comfortable sharing? And the third one is, and how would you lay out your ideal app? We ask them this question and let them to drawing something in the 8 minutes to quickly show what they think in their mind. Because we want to use this method to know what they wish, what they want, what they desire, and what they prefer to this application. For the results, we have common features. Some of them are drawing about they are preferred to have the course they can they will studying in the university and in this application, which can make them to more familiar with the course information. And the second one is the campus map, because most of them maybe is the new student to the university.
So as a result of all of these findings, we found that a lot of people, or a lot of the participants, base their knowledge and what they like and their desires and needs on already existing or pre-existing applications. And this could obviously create some kind of bias in the actual results that we have collected throughout these workshops. But what was most prevalent throughout these data findings was that they are after some kind of social engagement on some sort of text-based level. And so this is something that poses a new opportunity for us to further develop on behalf of UNSW during orientation week in particular. This is what concludes our presentation. If you have any questions, please feel free to let us know, and we hope to answer them for you as well. Thank you for listening.